Welcome back. Good Thursday morning, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us this morning. I'm Maria Bartiromo, and it is Thursday, May 7th. It is 7:01 on the East Coast. The Trump administration cracking down on food stamp fraud, and there's a lot of it. Agricultural Secretary Brooke Rollins says between January 25 and early this year, 4.3 million people have stopped receiving food stamps, in part due to tackling widespread fraud. She goes on to post on X saying in just one state, 14,000 individuals were receiving SNAP benefits and they were driving luxury cars, Bentleys, Ferraris, and more. Together with the vice president's task force to eliminate fraud, this ends now, writes the secretary. VP J.D. Vance's fraud force found almost 200,000 dead people were collecting SNAP benefits. Joining me now is Agriculture Secretary herself, Brooke Rollins is here. Secretary, good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. So what was your reaction when you started digging into this, and how do you assess that fraud with regard to food stamps and agriculture?
You know, I think, Maria, great to be with you, too. I think that we all knew there was a lot of fraud in the federal government. And for those of us that were here in the first Trump term, like I was in the White House, we saw a lot of that. We were able to make some good steps. But in that 4 years between Trump 1 and Trump 2, really digging in, and if we had the opportunity to come back in, what we could be able to achieve for the American people and the American taxpayer. But even I, a longtime policy person, longtime America First conservative, fiscal conservative, what we have uncovered in the last 14 months, and especially supercharged with Vice President Vance's leadership, is absolutely stunning. The hundreds of thousands of dead people, the 500,000 people getting more than one benefit. We've made over 1,000 arrests, and this is just out of USDA, our office, our OIG office. So there's so much more to come. And I will say today we're making yet another announcement here on your show. The rule is official today that we are doubling the stocking standards. So we're going to keep holding the retailers accountable as well. What we've talked about so far, Maria, on your show is the people who are receiving the benefits that shouldn't be. But there's also a lot of retailer fraud, the people, the stores that take the EBT cards, the SNAP cards, and we're cracking down on that with a big announcement today for our retailers.
Yeah, tell us more about that, because with this new rule that you're talking about this morning, we want to understand how this plays out in terms of who gets impacted. You're talking about stocking standards for stores who participate in the SNAP program. You want them, you'll require them now to carry more nutritious and whole foods?
That's correct. So under the old rule, until today, basically, under the old rule, anyone accepting the 240,000 retailers in America who accept the food stamp, they had to stock the stocking standards. They had to stock 12 or more, quote, nutritious food, real food. Well, today we're more than doubling that to 28, but we're also closing the loophole. So, Maria, before today, you could stock jelly as a fruit and jerky as a real protein. All that changes today, 12 to 28 at a minimum for any of the gas stations and the corner stores. And what I will say is there are a lot of communities that don't have access to a H-E-B in Texas or a Whole Foods or a Fairway. I was in Iowa visiting the Fairway stores 2 days ago. A lot of Americans don't have access to those. So for those that do get a lot of their groceries from a corner store, from a bodega, we're going to make sure that there's a lot more nutritious foods on the shelves and that they're actually real nutritious food. So it's an important day. We're cracking down on the fraud, but we're also opening up the market to better foods for Americans who rely on those stores for where they receive their groceries.
Well, that's wonderful, Secretary. Really meaningful policy there, so thank you for that. I want to get your take on China and what you'd like to see out of this meeting. I mean, the president is set to travel to Beijing next week to meet with Xi Jinping. Of course, the U.S. has been working, and the president has been working hard to get China to buy more agriculture from the U.S. China still poses a threat to U.S. food supply chain, Secretary, but we still don't know if, in fact, the president's going to delay this trip again. Do you have any sense of whether or not the president is going to delay this trip?
I would never jump in front of my boss. Obviously, he is thinking about it, analyzing it. The team is working on it every day. What I will say, Maria, and this is one of the great achievements and a lot of achievements over the last 15 months, but this is one of the greatest. 18 new trade deals. And when you think about agriculture and opening up the markets, it's unbelievable. Just yesterday, we got even better news on trade. Our trade ag exports are up over 5% this year, in this month, in March and April, versus where they were at the same time last year. For our farmers and our ranchers, for farm security, for food security, making sure our farmers can prosper as they move into hopefully what will be a golden age under this president, these trade deals are very important. But the president also understands that the over-reliance on a country like China has massive implications from a national security perspective. So we are very grateful. The president has moved out. He's put the farmers at the top of his list as he's struck these new trade deals. And my cabinet colleagues from Lutnick to Greer to Besant have just been wonderful, getting our soybeans, getting our cotton, getting our sorghum out into the world. But we'll see what happens in China. It's obviously a very important time for our farmers, for agriculture, making sure that we can sell our products around the world. But it also goes to the president's larger vision of putting America first, striking these big deals other than China over in Eastern Asia, with Australia, with the UK, with the European Union. Again, especially for agriculture, not one new trade deal under the Biden administration. We had a massive ag deficit we inherited when we came back over a year ago, but now we have cut that ag deficit by 2/3 in just about 14 or 15 months. This is all really great news for rural America and for our farmers and ranchers.
So you do think that this will be on the agenda should the president continue the plan and go to Beijing, that perhaps China will buy and keep promises to buy more agriculture from the U.S.?
I do. And I think that's really important, again, as we're diversifying around the world. But China is an important market for sorghum, for soybeans, for corn, et cetera. So, yes.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if the president is going to convince Xi Jinping to buy more oil and gas from the United States. You know, we have these reports that there are tankers that are saying, forget the Strait of Hormuz, they're headed to the Gulf of America so that those tankers can buy oil from the U.S. I'm wondering if that would be on the agenda as well. So we're looking at that. Secretary, you and Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche also launching an investigation into America's meatpacking industry. We had Peter Navarro on talking about potential antitrust violations here. What can you tell us?
Listen, at the end of the day, when we're looking at putting America first and what this president has committed to do and has continued to fight for every single day, a lot of that, Maria, when you look back over the number of decades, we have lost so many farms. We have so many foreign countries, including foreign adversaries, who now own significant portions of our food supply chain. This is unsustainable. If we can't feed ourselves, we will not know what freedom is. Food security really is national security. So Acting Attorney General Blanche and I, alongside Peter Navarro earlier this week, talked about a real investigation into some of that consolidation. In the beef business, we have 4 companies, 2 American, but 2 owned by Brazil, that control 85% of our processing in America. And at the same time, you're losing all of our independent cattlemen and ranchers who can't make it work. And so these are real significant problems. We've also got it in fertilizer. We've got it in seed. It's a part of equipment. Our entire food supply chain has to have a wholesale relook. And this Department of Justice, with the Agriculture Department, but under the president's leadership, is diving in significantly for the first time in a really long time. We've got to be able to reshore our fertilizer, reshore our seeds, reshore our processing plants, and we're doing that. We've made a lot of progress in just a year, but we have a long way to go to get there.
Well, what about the Farm Bill? I mean, the House passed the Farm Bill last week. The furthest this kind of legislation has moved through Congress since 2018.
That's right.
It'll go to the Senate for a markup. What do you want to see in that markup, Secretary? I know you traveled to Iowa to talk about this and the upcoming E15 vote after it was removed from the Farm Bill.
That's right. Well, I think there are a lot of really important pieces of this farm bill. E15, obviously, for our corn and row crop farmers is really important. But another big piece of this, and Maria, you and I have talked about it, it can't be understated how important, again, the food security and national security. China owns almost 300,000 acres of our farmland now in America. Foreign countries own almost 45 million acres now versus, 10, 20 years ago. These are existential issues. So ensuring that, again, for the first time under President Trump's leadership, we're putting America first. Maria, could you imagine a world where China allows America to come in and around their military bases in China allows Americans to buy Chinese farmland? That would never happen in a million years, but under other leadership, it's happened in America, and we have to stop it now. I think that's going to be a really big piece of the Farm Bill, as well as supporting, of course, our incredible American farmers and ranchers.
All right, Secretary, we'll be watching your work on all of that. Good to see you this morning. Thank you.
You too. Thank you so much.
All right, Secretary Brooke Rollins at the White House. We'll be right back.